good, even though my run was terrible. We starting off like with a god roll from the vendor though. Ooh, look at that. That looks so good. A tip for me how to advance from CT11 to CT15. I have Techno. How can we see max roll, god roll for any gear? So when I say god roll, I like, so certain things just have a, like certain guns, right? They have like rolls in terms of, well, the roll is, how can I explain this? So like the drop, right? Like this gun, even though I've leveled this up and everything, and all these stats are like kind of maxed out now, like, and the firepower, like the actual card damage, like that 12,340, like this gun can drop with a gun damage that's higher than that or lower than that. And so that's like the first kind of roll, right? Is like, okay, does it just, are the stats solid? Um, and that obviously has an effect on the firepower. So like I could get like this is a level 50 gun, but it has 1,000 less damage. So it's like, dang, like that kind of got a shitty damage roll. So even if I like max it out, it's like, is it going to be worth it because I lose 1,000 card damage? But then the other part of the roll that I'm talking about is in regards to like the attributes and the stats that I want, right? So like from the looks of it, armor, the actual armor stat can be like higher or lower, I think. Um, like this is a level 50 armor, but the actual armor is only at 9993, whereas some of these other ones are like 10.7. And then like I think even, you know, legendaries are probably a little higher. They probably have a higher chance to get that roll up. Oh, excuse me. But I don't really care about the armor, right? Like I care about the attributes, I care about the mods. And so basically for me to consider it a god roll, it basically has to drop with like the stats that I want are long range damage, close range damage, because that's just a pure damage increase, right? It has to have bonus firepower. That's a default. Like if it doesn't have bonus firepower, I don't even look at it. And then long range, close range. And it has to drop like bonus points. At this point, like I'm not going to replace anything unless it drops with one of the mods on it that I already have. So like this was the one I was using before, right? And I put critical analysis on it. It dropped with toxic lead, but it had close range damage and cooldown reduction. This one has firepower, close range, and long range, and it dropped with toxic lead. So that means all I have to do is replace one mod and I'm set. And it's just a straight damage boost. So I just got an additional 10% long range damage out of this for zero downside, aside from losing like 200 armor. Actually, no, I didn't even lose 200 armor. I gained armor. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I'm looking for god rolls and I'm looking in the vendor, I'm basically looking like, okay, I look, does anything have bonus firepower? Okay, does anything have close range damage, long range damage? Like check, and then it's going to be worth buying if one of the mods that it has is a mod that I already have on like one of my gear pieces or an equivalent gear mod, right? Like if it's something, if it doesn't have bloodlust but it has some other good damage amplifier. So that's what I mean by god roll. Does that make sense? And so like just generically you can also just tell, like that's what I'm looking for anyway. I'm looking for those attributes and I'm looking for one of the mods to not be garbage. And then with weapons, like I want to replace this blue blood because it has armor pierce, which is useless to me because I'm not running any armor piercing like conversion mods. So I'm getting nothing out of that. I'm getting nothing out of healing received. Like I don't think that a gun can roll with close range and long range, but like I would rather have this have like crit damage or anything like that. Like something else other than armor pierce because armor pierce is garbage for me. So I just want to be able to um, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Hopefully that makes sense. So especially on like techno, right? Like if I'm looking for an upgrade for my rifle, Right now, I would prefer that it drops with Brain Eater, and it should have it like equal to or higher damage than the card damage on this, and preferably it doesn't have armor pierce or healing received. Like hopefully it has crit. Um, like this gun is even worse, but I tried it out with Shield Maiden because I wanted to see if it would make it so I could tank more. But really, it just comes down to like I'm not looking at a weapon unless it comes with Brain Eater or maybe Crematorium. But the thing is, like Brain Eater is 100% mandatory if you're playing Techno. You know. Okay, got it. Do we have a max roll even for the damage number? Say we got a weapon with 100k base damage. After max out the damage, we take it on 50. But now will the same weapon already drop with 200k?